There's one guaranteed way that 8-figure e-commerce brands scale their businesses, and it's something you never see 5, 6, or 7-figure businesses use at all. It's a method that stacks wins on top of wins so that you can make sure you can scale to hundreds of thousands of dollars in ad spend, whether you're on TikTok, Facebook, or whatever you are. And this is what we're going to talk about today on the Ecommerce Uptick, which I'm the host of. And every day I run a agency called Purple Fire, and we actually focus on scaling e-commerce brands up to beyond 8 figures. And today we're going to be talking about the method that I just kind of alluded to. Now, the principle behind this method is something called CAYD, which means constantly audit your data. That sounds kind of underwhelming, right? But actually, auditing and constantly being aware of what's happening on your site is really fundamental in e-commerce. Yet we tend to forget that. Sometimes we just scale our businesses and then we sort of forget to dive into our numbers and look at where we're going wrong. Where are we actually leaking conversions, right? And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Now, if you are looking at your data, and I think you are looking at some reports, right? You might be looking at your Google Analytics from time to time. You might be looking at your Shopify reports and pull out the numbers. And maybe you're a little bit advanced. You created a little dashboard for yourself where you look at what you're paying for a new customer and so on. But a lot of this data is just a report to make you feel good. It's not actually a report that works deep to understand where you're going wrong and what you could be improving. So today I'm going to be giving you 8 tips, 8 things that you should be implementing right now in order to optimize your store, which will help you and be fundamental for you to actually get to 8 figures for e-commerce brand, right? And if you're already at 8 figures, you might still not be doing this, and this will just help you to get to 9 figures because it's really, really fundamental. So the first thing is for GA4, because now we're at GA4, right? We need to set up custom reports in there. If you're not doing this already, you're missing out on some really fundamental things. And I could do a whole video on what kind of reports and alerts you should be setting up in GA4. But if you're just beginning and new to this, make sure to set up custom reports in there that maps out your customer journey and set up automated reporting for when you have conversion leaks or when basically a part of your funnel is failing compared to a specific range which you agree is the norm. So let's imagine that on your store right now, you have an issue on your cart page. Let's say you implemented live shopping and now on certain devices, you cannot click the checkout button because the live shopping or the chat window pop-up thing is blocking it. Now, I cannot tell you how many brands we've seen, they never notice it. Or they take like 4 weeks to notice it and they just complain about rising CPAs. But in reality, it's actually their own fault because they implemented design changes without testing it, and they're not setting up the correct GA4 reports to basically alert them when something is going wrong. So you need to set up sophisticated reporting in GA4 to alert you if anything is not working as it should. And you can set that up, and basically once you get an alarm, you can dive in, look at device type, look at referral, like where are they coming from, all of these different things that kind of alludes to what is wrong. And if you do that, you'll be able to prevent issues so much faster. The second thing you should be implementing to get to the next level is set up a session recording software like Hotjar. You can use other ones. There's Clarity, there's Mouseflow, there's other software out there. We just like Hotjar because you can set up so many more filters and alerts that really help you. And you should constantly, and by the way, you should hire someone to do this full time, be watching recordings of people that browse your site. And you shouldn't just watch any recording, right? Because that can be hundreds of thousands and that will not be good for you. But you should actually filter based on stuff like visits that then click and add a product to cart but abandon it. So basically cart abandoners. You should be watching every single recording there to see if something is going wrong. You should be watching people that bounce off your website, right? And by the way, on GA4, you will not even see bounces unless you tick off a special button that says, I want to have the data of people that visit in under 30 seconds, right? That only stay on your site for under 30 seconds. You need to enable that inside of GA4. So that's really important. But also you want to be watching recordings of people that bounces off your site but hit a PLP page, because if they are on a product page and they're not adding to cart, there's clearly an issue here. So you want to watch those recordings to see if there's anything that is sort of standing out and they're basically not getting to the next level for some reason. And then you also want to watch recordings based on specific paid sources. So people coming from TikTok, people coming from Facebook, Google. You can basically then go back and see what ad were they exposed to, and then what happened when they landed on the product page or the category page or landing page, and see what is preventing them from buying. And maybe you can put two and two together. Maybe you realize that that ad is actually not a good fit for that destination page. So there's a lot of low-hanging fruit in optimizing there. You also want to do on homepage, that's sort of the last one that I just want to highlight, because your homepage is responsible for people that Google your brand, returning customers, people that heard about you from a friend, and they should actually be converting at a much higher level because it tends to not be cold traffic. And so there's a lot of optimization that can be done there. But beyond that, let's go to the next one on the list. Number 3 is survey visitors that are on your product pages and browse any of your top 5 products. And the reason why I say top 5 products is, like, let's say you have 100,000 SKUs. There would be no time in the world to survey everyone on those 100,000 pages, because the big thing about surveying customers is that you want to ask relevant questions related to the product they're buying. So if you can tailor the survey to that specific product, they'll be more likely to answer it, and you'll be more likely to optimize based on that survey. So what I recommend is set up 5 surveys for your top 5 products, and then maybe set up a survey to catch the rest, so to speak, which is just a general survey that asks them, is there anything holding you back from buying from us today? And then you can deploy that on all other pages. And then what you should be using that survey for is optimize your product page, your ads, your creative, everything related or based on the insights you get from this survey. So a customer might be telling you, I'm not sure about the return policy. I don't know if I can return this product. And they might be saying, I don't know if this fabric is stretchy enough for my body type. Whatever it might be, whatever you're selling, they will have different answers. But the important thing is to optimize your experience above the fold that addresses those hesitations. And if you do that, you'll see massive improvement. You also want to launch, and this is number 4, you want to launch a survey for previous customers. So basically people that have bought before, and you want to do this every single month. And then you want to make sure that cohort is only customers the last 30 days. And the reason for that is you don't want to bother people that have bought 2 months ago and have already been surveyed before. So every month, launch a survey for the last 30 days and get that information, that real-time data on how you're doing with the products you're selling in the last 30 days. This is the brutal honesty of how your brand is doing, and it's a great way for customers to also give feedback on the product quality, delivery experience, and so on. And everything in your business should be about improving what you get from that survey, because that is the dead honest truth of how well you're doing as an e-commerce brand. And I think I know maybe less than 2% of e-commerce brands that we have worked with that actually do this on a daily basis. So I think it's really, really important that you take action on this, survey people every 30 days. And if you do that, you will have massive upticks. 4th thing I want to highlight here, or actually, the next one is review your competition. And that sounds like, oh, I've heard that a million times before. But if you review mine And when I say review mine, is basically scrape all the reviews of your competitors. Then you will actually understand what they like about your competitors and what you could do better. You could also look at hesitations. And the way you do that is through AI. So basically, when we work with our clients, we take their top 5 competitors. We indicate to our scraping software what URLs to scrape. So it might be Amazon, Trustpilot, their own website. And then we ask our software to give us the top 5 reasons why people are buying X product from X brand. And we also ask the software to indicate, and you can use ChatGPT for this, by the way, it's super easy. You just import all the data and you ask the AI, what are the top 5 reasons why people are buying this brand or this product? And also you can ask it, what are the 5 things that customers dislike the most about X product from X brand? And it will actually understand the sentiment inside of all those reviews and give you an overview of what are the most critical issues and the 5 things they love about that brand the most. And this is extremely useful when you're optimizing your product pages, you're optimizing your brand, because sometimes you just need a little nudge in order to understand what to actually focus on. So it could also give you insights as to what to improve about your own products, because maybe you're not seeing the same things. So that could be a feature you're missing or something like that. It gives so good results, and we do this for our customers all the time. And not only do they use it for new ads, new creative, new email marketing, new product pages, new landing pages, they also use it for product development, which is something e-commerce brands have to master if they want to scale to 8 figures and beyond. So next thing I want to highlight is pay for users to conduct certain things. This is a bit more advanced, but we use Usability Hub for that. So we actually pay legitimate visitors to do certain actions. And we do this because we want to test if some new design is actually working the way we want. So let's say you have a lot of people falling off a certain product page, a landing page, or cart page. Well, you could test that by asking certain users to go through that part of your website and ask them what they liked about that experience, what they disliked, was there anything that was confusing, what was their overall feeling about that experience, and they will give you very detailed information about what they thought, because you're paying these people. And it, by the way, it's only like $10 or something per user. It's not expensive at all. But if you have an area of concern, maybe you're debating it internally within your business, like how should we actually go about fixing this, or is this actually good? Then you could pay certain users to perform that action and then watch the recordings and interview them in order to understand what you should do better. Next, what I really want to focus on is launching A/B tests. So all the stuff that I'm doing, I'm talking about, is only really good if you're launching A/B tests to see if you can improve that experience. So we launch A/B tests for all our clients, but you could do that yourself, right? There's tons of tools out there. Right now, our favorite one is convert.com, but you could also use VWO, you could use Optimizely. There's tons of tools out there, and you could launch your A/B test quite easily yourself. So if you find something in the recordings on Hotjar based on your survey, instead of just implementing it on your website, you should actually A/B test it to see if you're getting an uptick in terms of revenue per user, in terms of conversion rate, AOV. And this is super easy to set up. It's not that difficult. It's harder to understand what to test and finding the data, but setting it up is not something that's complicated, because we have great tools out there today. We actually integrate our A/B testing tool, convert.com, with GA4 and with Hotjar, so we can basically filter, watch recordings of people that have been exposed to a certain A/B test variant. So it's really important for you to A/B test everything that you are basically wanting to implement. So go from gut feeling to data-driven design changes. That's one of the biggest takeaways, and that's what 8-figure e-commerce brands are doing, but all the others are not. So hopefully this was useful. And by the way, if this is too complicated, you don't want to do it you can always contact me. Happy to do an audit. You go to purplefire.io and you can just schedule a call with me, and I'll be happy to talk to you. But again, all this stuff is something you can do yourself, but make sure to dedicate someone full-time for it, because otherwise we just see that is sort of not working out and it's not getting implemented. Anyway, this was a long speak. Hopefully this was useful. Let me know if you want to see more content like this. I'll be happy to post it. See you.